Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our final pre-lockout chat of the season. And I'm your host at BailsDT. And you can find me at BailsDT. Couldn't bloody get the even intro bloody right for the final one. But joining me as always is a man that has been my co-host and been a legend all season, and it's been fantastic work alongside him. And for the final time for the pre-lockout chat, Tim, how you doing?
Good, mate. How are you? How's your week? How's beautiful weather last couple of days here in Perth, eh?
Yeah, it's been good. Haven't been out too much to see it. Just been relaxing just last couple of days. But yeah, it's been good. Still got we'll head back next Wednesday. So still got one round of footy to go. And yeah, looking forward to it. Should be an exciting round. I think Mitch thinks that he's got you comfortably covered in the Continent Crows Cup overall leaderboard. So
I think he does. Look, I mean, it's not over, but I think it's going to take a bit of luck to get me across the line from here. But that's all right. Look, I mean, mate, I don't know about you, Bales, but I'm spent. It's been a long bloody year.
I've felt that this week actually, to be honest. I'm keen for AFLW fantasy to start, and so that is still got me sort of like for in the mood fantasy, and I've got like FPL as well on the side. But in terms of like the men's fantasy, I'm starting to feel what you are feeling. Just a bit spent. It's been a long year.
Yeah, and luxury trade season's no fun, right?
No, not really. Because you're going to do because more likely we're probably going to do the wrong thing anyway. We're going to trade out. Look,
well, it becomes more about luck than it does strategy, and that takes the fun out of it, I think. But look, whatever. I mean, maybe it's not that at all. Maybe it's just purely and simply that, for me, the things that I was chasing are kind of over. I mean, the Content Creators Cup was one of them. I also really wanted a hat this year, and it's been a couple of weeks now that chase has been over. So who knows? Maybe I'm just maybe it's a bit of that kind of very little motivation, but. Yeah. But look, I mean, here's the other thing. I mean, here we are talking like that, and there might be a bunch of people on the Twitter space right now or on YouTube that are like, what are you guys talking about? I got my bloody grand final this week, or, I'm ranked bloody 20th. Like, they're pumped. They are listening to every single bit of content. They are, fully invested. So, let's make sure we just, give them as much help as they can with this last week. And obviously, get your questions in, guys. Get them in the spaces below, get them on YouTube so that, we can get them answered for you. And you can, be informed for this last week.
Exactly right. And, I'm in a grand final. I'm in a cash league grand final. So hopefully you can take out it's my own league, so it'd be good to take that out. Haven't taken it out.
How much, mate? How much is the prize?
It's only 300, but still handy. Still with like
that.
I'm guaranteed 150 for second, so I guess it's something. I'll get something at the end. It just would be good to get
Varsity Bar last weekend. Maybe you were there. You might have been there. We were talking with. I won't mention any names, but they're in a cash league where it's $1,000 in. The grand final winner takes home $10,000.
Yeah, love
it. So they're coming. He'd be pretty motivated this week, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly right. But yeah, no, just before we get into questions and talk strategy, just sort of want to get your thoughts for people that maybe haven't not heard it last week or whatever. Just what have you been your overall thoughts with the Content Creators Cup and how you've think it's gone this year? Because I think it's gone fantastic, and it's been good. So just a couple of moments to talk about that.
Yeah. Look, I mean, obviously that this all kind of came out of us doing the AFLW stuff last year, and then we wanted to kind of do some of the M stuff, and then I don't think it was until just prior to the beginning of the season that I came up with the idea for the Content Creators Cup, and. I mean, look, firstly, just the way that everyone's jumped on board. I mean, I know obviously the Trader Boys have got some limitations with what they can and can't talk about, but, like every other pod they've talked about it in almost every podcast, which has been obviously great for, Infinite Wealth in terms of the support that, or the sponsorship, we might say, But then, the other thing is that I get the sense, and, that's from, some of the messages I've received and some of the people I've talked to and stuff like that, a lot of people pay attention to it or follow it or, and because they're keen to see how, all the podcasters that they listen to, how they're going and, to stay up to date with their teams, and just it's just fun to follow. So yeah, really really happy with it. No commitment yet, but plan is to do it again next year. And yeah, who knows? We might even be able to come up with some other ideas or some other ways of support. I don't know. Maybe we'll do I don't know. I got no idea.
Yeah,
but
plenty of pre-season time to have a think.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, and that's often the best way to do. Your thinking as well, is like shut down this year, decompress. Get away, and then when you start thinking again, like allow new kind of fresh ideas to come to the surface. So yeah.
Yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed being a part of it this year, and I think it's been great. Just a shame that I couldn't have a good.
Didn't enjoy the start of it, though, did you, mate? Bales the bye.
Yeah, no, and
that was so rough.
I'm probably thankful I'm doing the podcast with you, because if I wasn't, I think more people would be calling for my head and saying, "Get this guy relegated."
But even the truth is, Bales, it's stuff like that actually makes it brilliant. The fact that there was that, someone calling you Bales one, there's that banter and it goes around the pot. That's what made the Content Creators Cup so great. So, it's just fun. Everyone participating, having a bit of fun, having a bit of a laugh, and just connecting.
Yep. Yeah, beautiful. But yeah, actually, I'll do that on Sunday. We did get a review, actually, which was great. We got a review on Apple Podcasts. So
was it a good one?
Yes, it was. It's a funny one. So
shit!
I'll read it. I'll read it on Sunday night. So I'll put that in the run sheet. So then, because I think more people listen to just because it's a podcast and whatever. But if you do want to get an Apple review read out on Sunday for our final show, then make sure you put your review and give us a 5-star rating. And also, if you just leave us maybe some feedback. If like what you've enjoyed this year, what you haven't, let us know any sort of criticism, like constructive criticism, not bad criticism. But yeah, anything on board we'll take, and feedback. So, but no, we appreciate everyone tuning in. And then just as well, Tim, just want to, if anyone hasn't got the email, just update about Sunday as well.
Oh yeah, so it's been a big week. There's been some technical logistical issues. We can't basically stream the live space from the varsity. So what we've done is we've cancelled doing the live show afterwards. We're still going to meet on Sunday, watch the footy, have some beers, have some burgers, and then you and I will leave at the end, and we'll just do the round review like we normally do to finish off the year. But yeah, or anyone who's booked in, we've emailed them. I did that last night to let everyone know. Yeah. So just in case anyone else was kind of thinking about that. But yeah, so just a heads up, obviously AFL Fantasy Perth is, Cara and Mike and Bales and I, we're all going to be at varsity tonight. So, come down if you can tonight. And then, we still are going to be there on Sunday for that last game. So once again, if you can't get down tonight, get down on Sunday. Come and have a beer, watch the last game. Cheering those league winners, cheering the overalls, and let's put a pin in the year and forget about fantasy for 4 months before we start doing pre-season content, huh?
Yep, for me to be a couple of days because then AFLW starts. So
yeah, exactly.
But let's get into all the issues and stuff ahead of this week. So I think obviously the big one was Doherty last night. He's not playing. So people got to move him on, which is a bit of annoying for a lot of people that were trying to move on maybe both of the Freo boys. They had a couple other little tiny issues they wanted to do, but Doc's created an issue there. McRae and Bailey Smith, for anyone out there, they've got those two. Those two are out. LDU didn't make it back into the side. So if you didn't get to trade him last week, which, Tim, I know unfortunately you couldn't quite get to that before the game started, have to move him on. So, Tim, what were your thoughts on what are you potentially looking at doing? You've got the LDU. I don't think you've got Doherty issues, so I think it's just the LDU for you. But what are your trades looking at this stage?
Yeah, so dodged a bullet with Doherty. But for me, I've got Zeeble from last week. That just turned into... Oh, yeah, Zeeble. Obviously, that didn't work out. Last week, instead of trading out, I traded out Sheasel instead of Zeeble. What was it? Zeeble went 80 or something like that, and Sheasel went for a high score for the year, or 130 or something like that. So, so that essentially lost me the Content Creators Cup, but and now I'm left with the donut. So, but the plan for me, I'm pivoting. Well, actually, before I move on, one observation I do want to make that I think is relevant for this week. So I watched a fair bit of that game, that North Melbourne game. And what made it really hard, and, I think traditionally when you do have someone like a Jack Zeeble playing in their last game, they will go massive. But what was also a problem is there was also Cochin, there was also Rewalt, there was, who else was there? Was there someone else? Like there was a bunch of people.
No, just the three.
The three,
Cochin,
right?
Rewalt,
So and I wonder whether just having so many players, it meant that, on the ground, players are trying to share the ball around. And, this week, and who I think this might be relevant with, is a Shannon Hearn. So, we've got a couple of retirements coming out of West Coast. Obviously, we've got Herney, and then we've got Shuey. Is there another one? Hang on, I have a funny feeling there's a third retirement.
Nick Knapp, he's obviously not playing.
Oh, yeah. So, but, once again, I'm just a bit worried about, whether it kind of gets shared around a little bit. And, so I think that's something that's worthwhile considering for this week anyway. But, yeah, getting back to your question, I'm flip-flopping between a Shannon Hearn and a Tex Walker and actually bringing fucking Harry Sheezel back in. So, yeah, Harry Sheezel's pretty much a lock to come back in. And then it's just a matter of, do I go Taylor Walker or Shannon Hearn? And I'm leaning towards Taylor Walker. I think they might have a bit more to play for than – well, I'm just a bit – I think, the Crows – I mean, even after some of the comments this week out of the Crows camp, and you might be someone that is good to share some insight on this as well, but, I have a wonder whether, kind of let them grieve. They talked about letting them express anything they had to express, and then, like, putting a pin in it and moving on. And I reckon one of the easiest ways to move on would be to have a new goal or a new target. And really, what's the only freaking thing that they could play for this week?
Yeah, get Tex Coleman.
So it makes a lot of sense psychologically, I think, for the coach to have that focus, to get them off thinking about last week. But anyway, we'll just see what happens. That's my guess.
Just the thing with the Crows as well is but they're the sort of team that I don't think they're just going to sort of go through the motions and just just let the last game sort of slip and they don't really care, because it'd be different if it was like for example, Bulldogs couldn't make the finals, or a Geelong or an older team that don't have anything to play for. It's fine. A lot of these guys are playing for not just their futures, but they're a young side, so they're wanting to sort of improve every sort of quarter that they play, and I don't think they want to go sort of out on a whimper, like losing a gutting sort of the way they did, and then have a bad loss coming over to WA to play West Coast. They're going to want to finish on a high, and a few of the players are probably going to be playing for potential contracts. I know there's a few that don't have contracts, so that's just my thing behind. I think Crows will go out to try and win the game and try and win as well as they can. So, and then obviously Tex in the back of their minds going to have potential Coleman. He's going to have to kick again.
Oh, he's going to have to do a lot
because Curno's in front by I think it's 8 or something like that. So I'd have to imagine
Tex 10's achievable.
Yeah, Tex has got to kick at least 10, I think, to have a good chance to Coleman, because Curno's got Sam Taylor, so it could be a tough game for him there, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. But
key forwards have been absolutely going mental against West Coast, And who have they got? Who have they got down there?
Well, McGovern's back there, but he's not really he's more of an interceptor. He's not like a one-on-one key defender type player. So Brass being out is obviously the big one there. I know that in the last game they played, they put Oscar Allen back in the second half to try and go on Tex, but yeah. So, but then it'll be interesting. I like to play the Tex this week, and I'm sort of a bit stuck with my trades. I'm going. Well, Doherty's got to go, which is annoying. I've been tossing up between Luke Ryan and Harry Sheezel. The talk of potentially Ryan getting the attention from Finn McGuinness is probably swaying me a little bit in the way of getting Sheezel. I might just bring him in and sort of, because I think he could go pretty well. And then my second trade is either going to be, at this stage I've gone Sarong to Oliver, but it could be a Jackson to one of the Tex or Flanders or Butters or get Sheezel and then get Luke Ryan in my defence. So, I'm not, honestly don't know which is the second trade. Do you have any thoughts on that, Tim? What you would do? Would you go and get Oliver from Sarong, or would you go and get like a Tex or something like that, or Butters from Jackson?
I would. So I guess first question is, this is all about the cash league, right? I imagine. Who's your opponent got?
Yeah, so
what are the points of differences? Or what are the weaknesses?
yeah, so I had a look, and he doesn't have Sarong, which is part of the reason why I'm thinking of trading Sarong, just to get rid of the potential risk. And then he's got Sheasel there, and he's got Tom Green, Short, and Will Day. So there's 4 different at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm leaning to keeping Jackson, because he's got Jackson. He might get rid of Jackson, but I'm leaning to keeping Jackson, getting rid of Sarong to get rid of the potential poor score there.
Yeah. Yeah. So what were you, just run me through your options again now that I've got a bit more context.
Yeah. So it was going and trading Doherty to one of Sheasel or Ryan, and as I was saying, potentially looking at Sheasel.
I like Sheasel out of that trade.
And then going Jackson to like a Tex or Butters or something like that, or going and getting going Sarong to Oliver because he doesn't have Sarong.
They're 2 very different players. So like a Tex or a Butters, you can go either way, can you?
Yeah. So I got a bit.
Butters. I think Butters is going to be huge this week.
Yeah. So Jackson to Butters or Sarong to Oliver. That pretty much comes down to what I'm looking at doing.
Jackson to Butters or Sarong to Oliver.
And he doesn't have Sarong.
But he's got Jackson.
Yeah, he's got Jackson, and he doesn't have Sarong.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what you probably try and do is you trade Sarong hoping that he doesn't trade Jackson. Because, if he goes from Jackson to someone because I think Jackson's your weak link. But how much he hurts you there, I don't know. I mean, once again, F6. Who else could other people have at F6? They could have a Flanders.
Looking at his team, he'll be going Jaden Short out because he's got him there, and then he'll be going either Brayshaw out to an Oliver.
So why do you think Jaden Short out?
He's got Port Adelaide.
Yeah, okay.
Adelaide. And then he'll go one of Brayshaw or Jackson out, and he'll either go Jackson to Butters or he'll go Brayshaw to Oliver. So pretty much whatever I'm looking at doing.
Yeah, mate. These are line calls, right? The truth is, I don't know. Like, with the way luxury trades are going, whichever one way you go is probably the way you shouldn't, right? But you can't let that stop you. You just got to try and make your best decision and go for it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'll talk to people at RC tonight. We'll see what people are saying.
So once again, who's Jackson up again? Is it Reeves?
I'm sort of thinking with Jackson against Reeves being at the MCG. Reeves isn't the most mobile ruckman. I'm thinking that Jackson might be able to take him around the ground and work him pretty well.
Look, I mean, I feel pretty confident that it's Sarong that's going to get the tag.
And that's what I think as well.
But then again, hang on, I was just about to say one thing, and I'm actually thinking I'm going to flip the other way. So, because I was going to say, look, Jackson, even though he's got a tough matchup, he still could go 110 or 120. He still could do that. But then do you want to get off Sarong because of a possible tag that might not come? I mean, it could go
I sort of feel that Sarong doesn't have the ceiling anyway, so I don't think he's going to go 140 and I get rid of him. So that's why I'm like, well, I trade him who goes 110. Well, I can sort of live with that. I don't think he's going to go 130 or anything like that. But
are you the underdog or the favourite?
Well, I don't know. It's a good question. It probably comes down to if you'd rather Newman, Sarong and Cornelio or Day, Short, Green and Sheasel.
Well, there's only 3 players versus
4 Doherty's there as well, but obviously he's gone. But I'd probably
I do think so. Sheasel's I reckon Sheasel will come out of it, right? So what would take Sheasel out of it as well?
It would be Newman, Doc, and
no, take Doc out of it because Doc will turn to Sheasel.
So it'd be Newman, Sarong, Cornelio, and then Day, Short, and Tom Green.
Oh, man, you'd think you've got the better. But then again,
it's tough. It's close. It's going to be a close final. So
far out.
It'll be interesting. But I'll figure it out and I'll chat to a few people tonight and have a think. But I don't have to lock in anything tonight, which is good. So I can have a think and whatever. So, but we'll talk about captains as well. That's the other sort of big call and people. So I'm just going to quickly get up Aaron Delaporte's content creators captains and get that up for everyone so we can have a look at that. So content creators, content creators captain. Sorry. This is from Ball Boys, DT Forecast, Calvin, and James Papowski. So you've got Tim English is on 18, Bont 14, Laird 13, Dawson 9, Oliver and Dunkley 2 each, and then Marshall and Butters are 1 each. So is there a particular way that you're looking at doing with your VC and captain this week?
Yeah, so I'm trying to think about trying to stick with my strategy all year, right? Which is put who I think is going to be number one as my VC, which would be Timmy English, and that would be on obviously Saturday night. And then that would probably leave me rolling into Zach Butters on Sunday. But yeah, I think, but I am a little nervous about Zach Butters on a Sunday. I don't think that's the greatest options, but I'm not sure there's many other better options. What about you, Bales? What do you think?
I've been sold on having Zach Merritt VC tonight. That's been my thing for the whole week. And I know Bindy's been a fan. I know Bindy's tuning in now as well.
Yeah,
so Bindy, mate, if you want to jump on,
Bindy,
mate, ahead of a good weekend, hopefully for you. So
currently ninth.
Yeah. If you only want to jump for a couple of minutes, it's fine. Just if you want to jump on, feel free. But yeah, so I've had Merritt VC all week, and I'm going into Laird. I just think I'm going to enjoy the last week. Put my boy captain. I know that people are saying Brownlow Bont, and go Bont captain. I still just think Geelong is a tough matchup. I don't know if I see him going on 150. One of my mates, my best mate's brother-in-law he thinks Bont is going 158 this week. He thinks Brownlow Bont, Dogs need to make finals. He's going to kick 3 goals, have like 30-something touches, like nearly 10 tackles. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens. But he could do it. Bont's sort of the player I'm not going to count it. I'm backing Laird in against the Eagles. It might not. It could be a bit of a more bruise-free game than what the Crows have played all year. So when that happens, Laird can actually rack up those marks. And if he racks up his tackles as well, it could actually be a pretty big score. And he's gone 5 scores over 120 in a row against the West Coast. So that's why I'm confident he'll go pretty well this week. And he's a pretty safe captain as well. So yeah, they're my options. Anyone else that you've looked at considering, Tim? Like a few other players I've looked at is I could half considered a Josh Dunkley VC against St Kilda. Good match. I know Dunkley hasn't been good, but I could just see him ending off with a bang here. I've also looked at you could even do a Rosie. Errol Goulden against Melbourne could be a pretty solid matchup there. I know Mitch was keen on a Darcy Parish as a VC tonight. I'm a bit more concerned about his ceiling than anything, but he potentially could be someone there as well. Stewart against the Dogs could be a good VC if people want to go really, really unique. And then Jordan Dawson's probably the other one as well. Yeah,
Jordan Dawson certainly catches my attention, but yeah, I think the Dogs are too good a matchup this week to resist. I feel a bit more confident with Timmy English than I do a Bont.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But yeah, let's get into some questions. And if you guys are tuning in on Twitter or YouTube, make sure you do send through your questions in the live chat, and we'll get to all of those before the end of the show. We've got just over half an hour before me and Tim head off to varsity.
Bindy says he's walking home. He'll jump on in a couple of minutes.
Sweet. Oh, good. Looking forward to chatting to Bindy. But we'll answer a couple of questions before then. So Harry's got the first one. So he says, should I go Himmelberg to Sheasel and Doherty to Took, or Doherty to Young and Jackson to Green? So Himmelberg to Sheasel, Doherty to Took, or Dr. Young, Jackson to Green? I think on the first one. Would you rather go Himmelberg to Sheasel and then Doherty to Matt Crouch over Took Miller?
Probably. Yeah.
Took's got North Melbourne, and then Matt Crouch got the Eagles.
Yeah. Look, Took, I'm just worried about his role.
I did. DC said this on Wednesday, and I agree. Damien Hardwick obviously is now the new coach of Gold Coast. I would have to imagine that a few players are going to be playing in positions where Damien Hardwick will probably want them to play next year and get a bit of a look at them for 1 week before the end of the season. So I would have to imagine that Took is going to be playing midfield for Hardwick next year, but maybe do they play more players to the midfield because Dimmer already knows that Took's going to be in the midfield, so maybe his role isn't secure. I don't know what your thoughts are on that if you sort of read anything into that, or if you just go Matt Crouch anyway?
Yeah, I don't know. Seems a bit.
I'd probably go Matt Crouch.
It's a bit hard
because
to rely. Yeah,
they've both got easy matchups, and then the thing splitting it is Took's role potentially is not secure. Whereas we know what Matt Crouch is doing, as Binny said on Wednesday. Matt Crouch isn't going to be playing anywhere else except in the midfield. So
yeah.
But I like. Do you like those two better? Himmelberg to Sheeds and Doherty to Matt Crouch over Doherty to Young and Jackson to Green?
Sorry, what, man? I missed all of that. But I prefer Matt Crouch, that's for sure.
Yeah, so it was Himmelberg to Sheasel and Doherty to Matt Crouch was the first option.
Yeah.
And then the second option was Doherty to Young and Jackson to, I'm assuming that's Tom Green there.
I don't mind that either.
I'd just rather get rid of Himmelberg.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I'd rather keep Jackson.
Didn't Himmelberg go big last week?
You got 100, but he's been a bit of a yo-yo, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Up,
down. I mean, look, we've been saying for weeks to get Himmelberg out, right?
Yeah. Valentino asked this one. So he says, hey, Bales, do I go Zeeble to Kitty Coleman or Nick Hind, or trade Brayshaw for Tex? It's got to be, you got to get rid of Zeeble, don't you? You got to get, because he's not playing. So would you get Kitty Coleman or Nick Hind? I'd probably go Kitty Coleman against the Saints.
What about a Shannon Hearn?
If you get Hearn, I think you go him. But
or get to Sheasel if you can.
Yeah. If you have to pick one of those two, I think it's Kitty Coleman there. Valentino. We've got Bindi on. Bindi, how you doing, man?
Pretty good, boys. Are we?
Good, mate. Good. How are you feeling?
Oh, pretty good. I just walked up to IGA, got a block of marble chocolates and meringue flavored chips and Coke Zero. So I'm all set to footy tonight.
Yeah,
exactly.
Love it. Mate,
mate, tell me about your week. Have you been doing heaps of research? Have you kind of stepped away a little bit? Have you, you've been stressing out, sleepless nights? I don't know, in heaps of group chats. What does grand final week look like for someone who's in the top 10?
To be honest, I think mostly have taken a step back. What I've been trying to do in the second half of the season is just backloading all of my research till Thursday after teams come out. And you see a great example, right? You could spend 5 hours looking at your trades earlier in the week and it just becomes redundant when Doherty isn't out that we didn't expect.
Yeah.
And that just changes a lot of things. But yeah, look, it's certainly not stressful. I don't know. Would you guys be stressed in this situation, or
yes?
Maybe I'm a bit stoic.
Me,
okay.
But I overthink my bloody trades at the best of times. But if I was in the bloody top 10, top 5, I wouldn't be sleeping. I'd be hallucinating and thinking, wait, hang on, is Rory Laird and out this week? I don't know. I wouldn't be. But that no. It'd be stressful. Tim, how would you be going in that situation?
Yeah, look, I'm not sure. I mean, look, I think we'd all probably handle it differently. And then the other thing is that you probably just don't know how you're going to handle it until you're actually in that position. You could probably speculate how it might be. I mean, but yeah, until you're there, you just don't know. And then of course, there's all the individual circumstances of your particular year and where you're sitting and what your team's like and what bullets you've got that week and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if there's not too much going on, maybe you feel pretty calm and maybe, you're kind of seeing them like beach balls and you feel like the trades are pretty clear. It's I don't know, could be either way, right? But
I think I think a big component as well is you can do research and make what you think is a really educated play, but it just doesn't always come off. And I don't know, it doesn't make you shit if your play doesn't come off. That's just how the game goes sometimes. And I think being able to separate your own trades from the eventual result is just a good thing in general to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking a couple of weeks ago when I went Sarong over Laird. I'm I tried to remove all my bias at all because no one knows there's any bias towards Laird, but it's just there's nothing there. But I was looking at it going Sarong against West Coast, Laird against Brisbane at the Gabba. The call is you go Sarong in the easier matchup, and who would have thought that the pest that O'Neill is goes to bloody Sarong in the second half and Laird goes big and the Crows only just fall short of that. Yep. So again, as you said, that sort of and Tim was saying before, this luxury trade part of the season it's just down to complete luck at the end of the day because you make the right calls and because luxury trade's just a lot more difficult. It just is so hard.
There is,
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not complete luck, but there's an element of it.
Probably more luck. Yeah, more luck
previous.
than the first half of the year, where the aim is to get the value in, to build your team value up, to then be allowed to maybe get your 23rd premiums and get your luxury sort of side at the back half of the year.
and I think that, I mean, just reflecting on what Bindy's saying as well, I think the other thing is that, like in hindsight as well, you know, if you're making plays like where you don't make mistakes that you know could potentially happen, or you don't, try and hit a 6 when you know you should be playing a straight bat. Like, that's what will give you satisfaction in your season. Like, when you can look back and you go, okay, I made the right trade. Okay, it didn't work out, but then you still feel satisfied, rather than you try and reach a little bit and try and hit the 6 and then it doesn't work out, because I know then I feel like a fucking idiot. And I think
there's a couple of things on that as well, Tim, because I think one thing we see a lot is after making that attempt at a 6, a lot of coaches will then attempt to double down if the 6 fails, because they're like, oh, it's double or nothing. I can make up for this mistake or this bad outcome by doing another risky move, which then, isn't necessarily going to pay off either.
To me, that sounds like when you go into the casino and you put your money on roulette and you put it on a number and then you lose it and you go, oh, well, if I just get it back, I'll be able to get my money back. Then you lose it again. We're
talking about you and Jake the other week, mate.
No, mate. I doubled my money when Jake went, so I was very happy.
We might have to go to the casino tomorrow night after the footy, mate.
Yeah, mate. Potentially.
I don't want to get too nerdy with this, but there's some really good research on this about like correlations between gambling addicts and people that play fantasy sport, and how like both of these forms of entertainment, they do trigger like the exact same parts of the brain, and you do make a lot of the same mistakes and fall into a lot of the same traps. So I don't know, it's good to be conscious of that too.
For me, it's laird. I fall in. Maybe I should be going on.
And crows.
Yeah, mate. And what I was talking to, I think it was Callum yesterday, and I was saying about how I was still down in the dumps about the Crows. And when he said that, he's like, too right, you should be, because he's like, you're gonna have to watch the finals this next, in a couple of weeks' time, knowing that the Crows could have been there. So anyone that's saying for me to get over it, yeah, there you go. I'm not going to get over it. I'm going to be very upset. Anyway,
let's answer some questions.
Let's go through a few more questions. So Emily's got this one here. She said, hey guys, going Doherty to Hearn and moving McRae to one of McCluggage, Butters, Noah Anderson, Flanders, Josh Kelly, and Matt Crouch.
Christ,
which we prefer. So, okay, so
let's start this. Start here. Hearn. What are your thoughts on Hearn this week?
Well, it's a high risk, high reward play.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I don't love it. I'm not going to go there. I kind of feel like I feel much safer picking a Sheasel, who I think has just as big of a ceiling, but has proven all year that he can score well.
I think that Emily's going to Hearn because that allows her to then go McRae up, because McRae's so cheap. So we'll go through some of these options. So McCluggage or Butters, I think all of us can agree we'd rather Butters, and we'd rather Butters over Noah Anderson. Is it Butters or Flanders? Is it Butters over Flanders?
Yes.
Yep. Butters over Josh Kelly, yes, and then Butters over Matt Crouch.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So I think Emily's Hearn and Butters. I don't know if would anyone be keen on if you could do Sheasel and Matt Crouch over Hearn and Butters? Is that maybe something?
I'd take Butters. And I think one thing we really need to remember is Butters locks out in the second last match of the round. And that's a big advantage over locking out both your trades very early.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a good point. Yeah. And Billy, I'll ask you, because I was talking to Tim before about my trade. I don't know if you heard what we were discussing before. I just kind of get your thoughts, being the high-ranked coach and smart man that you are. Would you be going? So I'm going Doherty to Sheasel. Would you be going Sarong to Clayton Oliver because my opponent doesn't have Sarong and that just gets rid of any headache, or would you be going Jackson to Butters? He's got Jackson, and I don't know if he's trained Jackson, but.
Just one question on that. Do you have a 23rd player,
no,
or are you
unfortunately
best 22? So if you cop a laid out, you're just going to cop it, or do you have like bench cover?
I've got Mullen and I've got Borlase. I got literally my two mid benches are both Chesser and Drury. They're both in the emergencies. And then I've got Loman and Vicentini, who are both on the emergency. So I've got 4 purple dots. So hopefully a couple of those are the sub, but no, I don't have any cover.
Yeah. Look, yeah, in that case, it's not really going to matter. You might as well just go for whoever you think is the best player. So the options were it was Jackson to Butters or Sarong to Oliver.
And my opponent doesn't have Sarong, so part of my thinking is, do I go and get Oliver, get rid of Sarong? So even if Sarong goes big, it's not going to hurt me because my opponent doesn't have him.
Yeah, I'd move Sarong.
Yeah,
I think I know we saw that tweet today about perhaps Finn going to Ryan, but if Sarong does play well, I'm sure he will get attention.
Yeah,
so.
And you'd go she's
Jackson,
over Luke Ryan?
I would, yeah. I mean, I kind of thought that before seeing that tweet, but I find them very difficult to split.
Yeah.
But
what are you going to say about Jackson?
Yeah, she's with Nozib is very nice.
Yeah, what are you going to say about Jackson? You're going to say something there about him?
Oh, I was pretty bearish on Jackson earlier in the week, but I had a chat with someone earlier today, and I don't know, I feel a bit more optimistic about him now. I know it's a tough matchup for Rocks, but Jackson's basically a midfielder, and if the other mids are getting attention, yeah, perhaps he could flourish. Said the G as well.
I was
right?
saying that. Yeah. I was saying that to you on Wednesday night on the Twitter space.
Oh, that was you that said that.
I was saying that I just think Jackson could sort of run Reeves around the ground. Reeves isn't the most mobile ruckman going around, so I just think that Jackson, and there's no Meek, so it's just Jackson v Reeves. So yeah, that's just my thinking.
Well, look at his score last time they played each other. And that's probably actually the best indicator of why I'm not as pessimistic about it.
Yeah, what was the score? 117. Wow. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I think Reeves might have got a 40 something in that match. If there was something to it, like I actually haven't checked to see if there was a sub or anything. If someone knows, leave it in the comments. But
hey Bindi,
but yeah,
I was going to ask thoughts on Tex.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's a play for a certain type of coach who wants to make a really big swing to make up some ground on people.
Sounds like a play then.
Clearly he has a low floor and a high ceiling.
Yeah.
So
high risk, high reward.
If it goes bad, it's going to really suck. If it goes good, it's going to be pretty good for you. So
yeah.
It'll also help that me and Bales will be at the game tomorrow night. So why not? And look, I need a bit of a Hail Mary this week, so why not?
Yeah.
And that's it. It's a bit of a Hail Mary.
Totally.
Yeah. And just having a look at Reeves. Reeves played 79% game time against Freo early years, so he played the whole game. There we go. We got a big question here from James, who is actually the guy I'm playing in the Cash League final, which is hilarious.
Crap.
So he says, "Hey Bales, so far going Will Day and Brad Crouch to Nick Newman and Matt Crouch, and then he's VCing Sicily." Captain English, best of luck in the Cash League. So, I was going to say, James,
suspicious, right?
I was going to say,
complete opposite.
James, you didn't have to bloody let me know what you're doing, but he's not trained short. That's interesting. If he's going day out, but there you go. If that's what he's doing, we've got very different trades and very different captains. So, will be very interesting. So, no, good luck, James. It's been a pleasure having you in the league this year, mate. Should be a good final. Daniel's got this one. He said, "Where's Finn going? Brayshaw, Sarong, Ryan." I think we can all say we've got no idea. If anyone could pinpoint a player, are we just sort of saying that?
You've got to say that the highest chance has got to be Sarong.
That I'm thinking Sarong as well, and I think Bindi, you said you'd probably say Sarong as well.
Yeah. I just want to say though, the person who made that tweet today about
Levi,
potentially going to Ryan Levi, he's been right on a number of occasions. Like every call he's made in regards to Hawthorn this year, he's been correct. So yeah, I trust what he says, and I think maybe at some stage he will go to Ryan, or maybe he'll start at Ryan and
tend to mix it up.
If the others get off the chain, they're going to move him, obviously.
Yeah,
but, and also it might just not happen. But I trust that what he's saying is true, and he's not just making shit up.
I could easily see Finn going to Ryan and then them sending Connor Nash to Sarong, and just Nash being the bigger player on Sarong, just sort of smothering him all day. That I could see that happening. So, but no, we'll have to see.
Exactly, because they've got Newcomb back as well. So, what's Andy Brayshaw going to really do on the inside? Like, I would back Newcomb to have a much bigger influence.
Yeah, I actually think the Hawks could win that game as well. Could be interesting.
Oh yeah, I'm tipping. I don't do tipping, but I would be tipping the Hawks.
Well, actually, I got a question for you guys. Who's the worst West Australian team this year? Is it Freo or the Eagles?
Wait, what do you know? Actually, no. I don't know what do you mean by worst.
I was going to say, if you phrase it disappointing, it's Freo.
Yeah. That's how I should have phrased it.
If you phrase it bad, it's Eagles. If you phrase it most annoying supporters, it's Eagles. What else? What are the other criteria? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but not really. No, my dad's an Eagles supporter, and yeah, just gonna take the piss out of him a bit.
Sneako's got this one here. He says, any VC before Bont besides Merritt? So, well, Bindy, have you ever think about what you're looking at doing your captain and vice captain? Because I know you said that Wednesday you didn't really have too much of an idea what you're doing, but maybe Friday you'd have a bit more of an idea.
Yeah, I've narrowed it down to a few. So I like Merritt tonight. Don't think I'm going to go there, but he's very close. I like Rowan Marshall against Brisbane. I like both Bont and English in that Geelong
with
match.
Marshall, I think Mitch raised a really good point on their live show. And if you haven't checked out the Ball Boys this year, what are you doing for one? But two, they're just legends of blokes and do great content. But he said that he wouldn't be surprised if Marshall is put on ice later in the game, because if you look at St Kilda, they've got 6 spots
Jack
there.
Hayes.
And Jack Hayes in the side. And I could see them giving him a bit of a run the second half to maybe get a bit of confidence up. And they can only fall below Sydney. That's the lowest they can fall, I think, looking at the ladder, unless the Giants absolutely smash Carlton. But I don't know if that's going to happen. So I could just see them resting Marshall, knowing that they've got bigger games on the horizon.
Look, there's a chance of it. I think it was JS in our group chat pointed out that last BFL match for Jack Hayes, he kicked 6 goals. I had a look at the stats. He had 6 goals and 3 hitouts. So it seems to me like they were playing him as a forward. The fact that Max King is out also makes me think that it's just a direct swap. But like you said, if the game is over at 3/4 time, they could just be like, okay, Rowan, you sit out. We're just going to let Jack Hayes have a go. Now, one thing we should also remember is that if there is an injury in this game, all of this thinking is redundant because they can't sub him. Although I guess they could rest him or give him limited time. And it's just as likely that they could rest Steele, I think, as well. So
that's a good call.
If you look at banged up players in that team.
That's a good call. But yeah, I'm just having a look here for the other VC options. You've got, I don't mind Sicily, who James said before, Sicily against Freo. I don't see any real attention going to Sicily, but they could send someone to him. But Sicily could be good VC. I actually like Sheasel as a VC against Gold Coast. Blundstone, we know Zeeble had a few massive games down there, and I could see Sheasel dominating Gold Coast down there. And with Henry being the only guy back there, no McDonald, no Zeeble. Hall's obviously not there. So I think you go big. I actually like Dunkley as well against St Kilda. I could see Dunkley having a big game here and getting to some form right before finals. So, yeah, they're the ones that I would look at as well. But I think Merritt, for me, I like Merritt the most.
Just one comment on Sicily. And I could be off the mark here because I don't really know that much about Freo, but I noticed they brought Joel Hamling back in the side. That kind of makes me think that what they could be looking to do is move Cox into the forward line to play a defensive role on Sicily.
Yeah.
Just something I thought of. Maybe I'm playing 3D chess here.
You should be saying that. James sees VCing Sicily, so if that's going to happen,
No, I'm just flagging it for James. Like you might Oh yeah, true. Actually, oh shit. I signed a contract. I wouldn't help your opponents. No.
Yeah. We weren't going to announce that to anyone, but no. James actually put in the comments here. He said, "All good. I found out what trades and captains you are doing or going every week." Oh, thanks, James, mate. If it wasn't my cash league, mate, I'd donate some winnings. But it is my league, and I've got to sort of keep my reputation. So I need to win this. Need to win this week. Sorry, mate. More questions here. John's got actually just a comment here. He says, Darcy played last time and Jackson played more of forward mid-roll rather than ruck against Hawthorn. So, yeah, that's interesting.
It's a good explanation. Like that scares me a bit now. But that makes sense. For some reason, I thought that was during the period where Darcy was out. But
yeah,
good observation.
John also said, I'm going Doherty to Newman and need to decide who goes out of Jackson, Sarong and Brayshaw. Who's the priority? Again, as we said, it's sort of probably depends the situation you're in. Is there an answer, Tim or Bindy, that you'd get rid of out of the 3? Is it Sarong? Is it Jackson?
Probably Sarong. Yeah, I'd probably get rid of Sarong. I still think yeah, he's most likely to. I think he's most likely to either get the run with from Nash or the tag from Finn.
Yeah.
I feel like for some reason, I feel like Brayshaw now is somewhat the safest of those three, of Ryan, Sarong, and him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Tim, any thoughts?
Sorry, I was looking at the survey, the type form, the AFL Fantasy Survey.
Oh yeah, I was going to actually touch on that just before, later on, but I'll do it now that you mentioned it. And Bindi, I think you made an awesome point when you shared it. So obviously, people, if you guys want changes for fantasy next year and everything like that, put them in the survey below. Let people at AFL Fantasy know how you've enjoyed this year. But Bindi, you put a really good point about the whole lockout and that it should be a fixed lockout. And I've been like warning in that I really like the idea of the first game on the Saturday being the lockout. So if anything happens Friday night to Saturday, you can look at that. VCs are still in play for the one game. And do you just want to go through what you were saying on things instead of me talking about the wrong lockout?
Yeah, sure. Look, I this year I've had some success, and a lot of it has come from exploiting that rolling lockout, right? Like, for example, I think there was an order you laid out.
Twice.
And being able to, being home and being on my phone and being able to swing a trade to get around it is really nice. But yeah, I don't know. It's stress isn't the right word, but I think that just like knowing that you have to be checking your phone 5 times on a Saturday before the game start to see the teams, I don't know, it just takes a little bit of a toll. I'd kind of prefer just to do my research during the week, and then when lockout starts on Saturday morning or Friday night, just watch the games and enjoy it.
You made a good point. You said that like the Ryan lockout hurts those coaches that they live overseas or they're overseas for work or holiday or whatever. They've got shift work or they play sports on weekend, which is a lot of people. And Selby's made that point a few times that it rewards the people that are sort of free to check their phones all weekend and people that have got like a lot of us got our own lives outside of fantasy as well. And it's could be chaotic and stuff, and you can't check your phone a lot. So just or people have got kids and that, and then they can't check during the day if there's any layouts or anything like that. So I just thought it was a really good point, and I would like the Saturday lockout. So if anyone else wants to fix lockout on the Saturday, then yeah, let the people know on the survey.
And perhaps there's an in-between as well, right? Like, I think there are obviously benefits to rolling lockout, being able to cover laid outs and stuff. Like, it would suck having a laid out affecting you with a fixed lockout. But, yeah, there are other ways around it. One of the ones I keep proposing is that we should be able to field 23 players. The top 22 scores count.
Ooh.
That way,
yeah.
I think that really saves you from things like injuries. And obviously, you wouldn't be able to loop with the fixed lockout as well. So
yeah, okay.
I got a hot take, gents, on this. So my hot take is that it's not going to change, and the reason why I don't think it will is because of the engagement stats that the AFL get on their website. And on top of my hot take, how they'll justify it is when I look at the survey. So there's 1 option for yes and 3 options for no. So I think that's potentially intentional, and what they will do is they'll just split all the no's, and that's how they'll justify not switching. That there wasn't enough.
Warnie's already discussed
has
this. Yeah, so someone raised the exact same concern you just raised, and he can confirm that they're actually not at all concerned with engagement metrics on this one. It's literally down to what the players want.
Yeah, okay.
And he confirmed that in last year's survey where they did the same thing, it was a, rolling lockout and then different options for fixed, that they sum the total of the fixed lockouts. And then they would use what type of, what day it is as, extra information almost. But if there's 70% total among the fixed lockout, options, then yeah, it's probably the way it would go.
Get voting, peeps, because let's get it changed. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, it does advantage people, but the reality is it disadvantages people. And yet, if there was a full lockout, no matter when it was, whether it was Friday night, Saturday morning, I mean, I don't like the Saturday night. I think that's too late. But Friday night or Saturday morning, I think that it doesn't essentially disadvantage. It's at one time, everyone knows the time. and then you just play on from there.
And then if there's like a laid out, it's people can't get that advantage. Just everyone's in the same boat, and
Exactly.
it rewards
the game,
and it rewards the people that have got more bench cover, have probably put a bit more time into their bench. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll get into some more questions, but just thought we'd touch on that because it was a really good point. So, Jason, I did see that about the who's this the help needing to figure out a friend's password. That was quite funny. People doing that. So.
Oh, that was gold. That
is
gold.
I know. I love it. Jason said, "What trades?" So he's got the three options. So he's got first one is he's going Doherty to Butters and Anderson to Treloar. It's first option. So Doherty to Butters, Anderson to Shaw. Second option, Doherty to Butters and Short to Sheasel. Would you rather Short to Sheasel or would you rather Anderson to Treloar?
Short to Sheasel.
I'm the same. Tim?
Yeah, me too.
Anderson's got a great looking matchup.
Yeah, I'd agree. And then the final one, he's going Doherty to Butters. Is he going Brayshaw to Oliver? I'm going Short to Sheasel still, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm going Short to Sheasel still.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. So, Jason, we'd do that one. We'd get Sheasel and Butters there. Corey says Wagner and Parrish for Doherty and Bailey Smith. Bloody hell. Okay, Binny, I'll go through this.
Right, so that's the opposite way, right?
I'll go through with this one, Binny, because I know Tim, when there's too many names, Tim's like, there's more than 4. Tim's like, nah, I'm out. So,
dude, that's me as well. I have such a shit memory, but let's try.
So, first option, Doherty and Bailey Smith to Wagner and Parrish. It's the first option. Second option.
Wait, he's trading in Wagner.
Yeah, he obviously has got because
I mean,
Bailey
unique,
Smith's really cheap, and he's obviously got to go one down, one up. Second option is Doherty and Bailey Smith to Sheasel and Tex. I'd rather that one.
Yeah, I'd rather that.
And then the final one is Smith and Doherty to Hearn and Sheasel. So it's either Tex or Shannon Hearn.
Yeah, that's what that comes down to, right?
I'm Tex personally.
I'm Tex personally over Hearn.
Yeah, so Corey, we'd probably do that. We'd go Tex.
Boys, I got a question. How often do you read, watch, or listen to AFL fantasy related content? Is it every day? What about 7 times a day?
Yeah.
Mate.
This is probably the first week where I actually haven't been able to listen to really many podcasts. So just as you said, just the sort of tired, like the season just so like it's so long, and it's just like I just want to do the trades and sort of get the season done. But more often than not, I listen to every podcast every week.
I can summarize this week's podcast for you if you like. It's, hey, who do you think's getting tagged? Brayshaw was wrong. Oh, I have no fucking idea. What about you? Oh, same. that's every pod, including this one.
That's funny. Do you know who's getting tagged, Biddy? No, I'm joking. But yeah, so we'll keep going. Lockie's got this one. He says, any idea of Chess's sub? He's my only loot for Marshall. Tim, any ideas?
Sorry, what was that, mate?
Is Chess going to be the sub?
I'd
imagine so.
He might be, yeah. He's not injured or anything, and if he's out, he's probably just going to be the sub.
Yeah.
Who are the other emergencies?
Let's have a quick look at the Eagles.
Oh, I got so it's Chesser, True, Jermaine Jones, and Bazzo.
Yeah, it's probably Chesser or Jermaine Jones could be sub, to be fair as well.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, maybe they give Chesser a rest. I'm not sure. It'd be tough.
Yeah, Chesser omitted, Jones omitted, True omitted. So
yeah, because Lockie's saying he's only loot for Marshall. I don't know if I'd be going if that's Marshall captain. I'd probably go someone else if it was captain. But
when's the waffle match?
That's a very good question. I'll check the footy live.
Holy shit, Bales! We're in the survey.
Are we?
AFL Fantasy Fanatics.
What
AFL podcast do you listen to regularly? We've made it.
Hey!
Jesus. Closing the business.
Yeah. There you go. We're going on a high. West Coast, actually,
hey,
so
guys.
West Coast play 10:30 tomorrow. So you'll know if Chesser plays. So yeah, Lockie, just keep an eye on that. What's happening.
Yeah, you won't necessarily know, but there'll be a good indicator, right? If 2 of them play and one of them doesn't, the one that doesn't is going to be a sub. But 2 of them could be withheld, in which case, good luck.
Rhett Weeks has got this one. He said, Phil, from my fellas, I've got Doherty, Cripps, McRae, and Baslenka. Oh, man. That's if I had that, I'd just be like, just end the season now. We don't need the last week. Just end it now. Sorry, Rhett, to hear about that, man. Sam Langley, would you trade Sarong and Brayshaw for Green and Laird, or trade one for Laird and hold a trade? So, Benny, this is one that you were probably talking about a bit before. Would you lock both trades in tomorrow and go Sarong and Brayshaw out, or would you just go Sarong to Laird and hold a trade?
I'd hold a trade. But, yeah, a lot of coaches don't play like that, but I always try to hold a trade for as long as possible. I think this week more than most, laid outs are going to be a factor, especially as we find out, teams are going to find out if they need to win or not based on previous results during the round, in which case they might choose to rest players. So if you can hold a trade, that'd be nice. Yeah. And obviously you would trade Sarong, not Brayshaw, I think.
Yeah. Connor said Walsh in because Cripps and Doherty out, or Hearn in for junk time in his last game. I wouldn't be getting Walsh. I'd be getting Hearn. They could put Walsh. I wouldn't be surprised if Walsh plays less than 65% game time this week, just to ease it back in for finals. So I'd be going Hearn there, Connor. Andrew said he's going LDU to Flanders. Is that we're ticking that off? I like the Flanders move this week. Good matchup.
Love it.
Farney has got, hey guys, Jackson to Flanders or Sheasel?
I can't split them. I've been struggling to split them all week.
I'll go Sheasel. Then Crouch to Laird or Green, where everyone knows where I'm going here. I think it's Laird anyway. It's Laird anyway, even not without bias.
Well, it's the matchup. It's just, you just look at the matchup. If it was a neutral, honestly, I really struggled to split them last week. But this week, one has the easy matchup. Well, one has the easier matchup. One has a pretty hard matchup.
Matt Denton, late mail that Finn's going to Ryan. Bit of noise about it today. Who do you go for in defence outside the usual top six? If you're not going for Ryan, I think we said it's probably Sheasel's that guy that we'd go for. Hearn's not a bad option there as well. They're probably the couple, but there's not too many. If you don't have a Newman, go up to Newman, but it's tough if you. But Ryan could still be solid, but we'll have to see if he goes to him or not. Crispy says, best mid to get besides Oliver for Sarong out. Give me the top three. So who would be our top three mids? It's probably, for me, be Laird, Bont and Merritt. They're probably the three for me that I like the most. And I don't mind a bit of Parrish tonight. Are they the three that we'd say, or anyone else?
Yeah, there's a good chance he might have all or some of them though. If he's talking about the newer ones that have come up recently, Laird, Green, Oliver are the three that a lot of people are picking between, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Anyone else? Maybe a Lockie Neal could go well
against Saints.
Against St Kilda.
Yeah, it's a good call. Yeah, I like the Lockie Neal one.
Flanders in your midfield, not against that necessarily. If it's get you a better trade on the other
Butters
side
as well. Butters is in your team. Put someone in your midfield and then put Butters in your forward line. So plenty of options to have a look at there. Riley Noble says, Tim, good luck in the Hat Chat League final this week, mate.
Thanks, mate.
There's a certain.
Am I up against? I wonder if I'm up against Riley. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, I think you probably are, to be honest. And then there's a certain. This will be the last comment we'll finish off with. Is Will Ashcroft is my dad? So I think it's a certain brother of someone that we've got on here. It says DT Binny is a dog with an AWG, I should say. Sorry. So that's
that's my little brother Lockie. Guys, everyone cross your fingers for him. He's playing for a hat this week. I think he's ranked 160, 170 or something. So yeah, he could do it with a bit of luck, I reckon. And in his case, maybe Dan Houston is the play because, one every 10 games he pops out of 150 or 160. Yeah. Just gonna hope that this is the.
And
game.
he asked you, Luke Ryan or Houston. It could be Houston, actually, as you said. So yeah, that's interesting. But
hey, Bales, I got one last comment before we wrap up.
Yep.
And I just want to say thanks to everyone for following and listening and tuning in. And, whether it's, they followed the Twitter page or asked us questions or they've jumped on a space or listened to the podcast or whatever it is. I mean, you and I were talking last night about, we think we may have got somewhere in the realm of about 150,000 listens over the year. And that doesn't include our Twitter space, our pre-lockout chat. And I mean, they're just completely beyond anything I would have expected from this. We expected maybe a few hundred people every week.
Yeah.
Something like that. And
we've sometimes got that people listening. We've sometimes had that a few times, people listening live.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just, don't want to go on about it, but just want to say, guys, thanks for all your support. We hope that we've delivered great content for you. We've hoped, you've gotten value out of it. We've hoped you've enjoyed it. And, we've hoped you've kind of felt like you're connected to us because we feel like we're connected to you. So thanks for everything.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. Echo everything there. Thanks, Benny, mate. We've had you on a fair few times, and they've been sort of in bunches. We've had you on a fair few weeks in a row, which has been great. But thanks, mate, for jumping on once again.
Best of fucking luck for this week, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, luck. Mate, if you finish top 10, we'll have to get you on the Sunday show. We'll have to chat to you for a little bit on that, I reckon.
Yeah, sounds great to me.
There you go.
Finishing top 10 would be awesome, but if I don't, Hat would be nice as well. It'd be pretty great just to get that. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Binny, mate, where can the people find you for anyone that doesn't follow you yet?
Just on Twitter, I guess. If you click my little face in the spaces, it'll probably take you to my profile, DT_Bindi. Yeah.
I'll go and follow.
I don't have a podcast or anything, but I do a Q&A most Saturdays. So I think I'm doing one tomorrow at 9 a.m. if you have any questions.
Look at that. Look at that, Tim. He's got his own stuff to worry about. He's top 10, and he's going out for the people on a Saturday morning and answering questions. What legend.
Oh, mate, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Oh, it's a bit of a scam because I get to find out.
Don't give it away. This is why I started a bloody podcast, all right? This is why I'm having the best year of my life.
I get to find out all the players people are interested in and do some research, and maybe there's a name I haven't heard of yet. Nah, it's just a bit of fun.
It's
just a bit of fun.
That's great. Now, thanks, Benny, for jumping on once again. Tim, where can the people find you?
Tim Guest AU and at the Varsity Bar in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, and for one of the last couple of Fontons, where can the people find the module for Infinite Wealth if they haven't done it yet?
Just in case. Yeah, look, guys. So, guys, I mean, I don't want to kind of go on about it, but just remember, this is not like this program is valued at $3,000 and I sell it for some cheaper price. That's not how this bloody works. People pay $3,000 for this bloody product, right? So, if you haven't got it, get it before I close it down, which is going to be in about 7 days' time, right? So, it's, what is it? infinitewealth.com.au/AFL Fantasy. Yep. Even if it's not something you're interested in now, go and get it now because you may want it in the next 6 months or 12 months, right? Yeah. So, and you won't want to miss out on $3,000.
Because what's the worst if you don't need it, you've sort of got it there in your back pocket anyway for when you eventually will need it. Yeah, exactly right.
You can sign in at any time and start using it. I mean, who knows? Maybe you do it over a year, or I don't bloody know. You might knock it out in a weekend, right? But I'd hate for someone to in 6 months' time go, oh fuck, I really wish I'd downloaded that bloody thing and they didn't do it. So just do it. Just do it before it's gone, and keep it in your back pocket.
Yeah, exactly right.
Hey, Tim, I was telling someone the other day, I'm like, I was on this podcast, this guy, Tim, he's got like a finance course. And they were like, what's the name of it? I stuffed up the name. And this is just the stupidest stuff. I referred to your course as Financial Peace University. And I don't know where the fuck I got that. Wow. I'm not sure where I got it.
Neither am I, mate. Neither am I.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, beautiful. Oh, you can find me at BalesDT and trulybailshd on YouTube. I'll be doing AFLW stuff. I'll be doing the Friday pre-lockout chats as always. So I'll get people doing AFL Fantasy. We'll jump on, have a chat. I know that I'll get a few of the guys from Free Kick throughout the season jumping on, which would be great. And a few other people around the AFLW fantasy circles. I'll probably do some video content as well. So make sure you guys jump on that if you guys want to learn a bit more about AFLW. I'm by no means an expert. I'm just a fan like many of you. And I'll be doing watch-alongs for all the finals. So looking forward to all that stuff. But boys, thanks for doing another pre-lockout chat. It's been great. And we'll catch you guys on Sunday night for the final round review and season review. We'll wrap up the season as a whole. So thanks, everyone. And we'll catch you guys Sunday night at the later time of be 7 p.m. Western Standard Time to be 9 p.m. on the Eastern State. So we'll chat to you guys then. We're out. Cheers.
Good luck, everyone. Bye-bye.
See ya.